All right, welcome back, or welcome to the show. We have a very special guest, Dave.
Dave Weiss, like ice.
Dave Ice.
Weiss.
Welcome.
Weiss.
It's nice. We also have Shane with us on here, a special guest. First time actually being like a co-host. But yeah, Dave, give a little bit about yourself. Who are you and what do you do?
I'm just a normal guy. Well, normal, that's a bad word because I'm not normal. I'm not like all the sleeping zombies in this world. I was in corporate America. I had my own company. I walked away from it all to teach people about the deception, which I call the globe lie. And when people first hear about it, oh my God, flat earth, that's impossible, right? But when you actually look into it, you find out that everything you thought was a proof for the globe is actually a proof against the globe. And, all testing, all measuring always shows the earth to be level, horizontal, stationary, and with no curvature. So, in the heliocentric model, you believe that we're on a rock surrounded by water, surrounded by air, pressurized air, adjacent to a void without a container. Nowhere in science, nowhere in a lab, nowhere in nature can you have high pressure next to low pressure without them instantly equalizing. Okay? So, if you open up a soda can, what happens? It equalizes, right? If you had a bottle that had no air in it, open the top, even if you open it upside down, air is going to equalize. Air always equalizes. Air needs a container for pressure. If I said, hey, go pick up some propane for the grill, but don't bring back the container, just bring back the propane. Could you do it?
No. Okay.
Gas needs a container. Otherwise, it will fill all the available space. So we're on this rock, surrounded by water, surrounded by air, flying through a void, spinning at ridiculous speeds, okay? In the heliocentric model, you believe that the Earth is spinning how fast? Bet you don't even know.
The speed of light?
No, not the speed of light. So here's the funny that you said that because that answer is so ridiculous. They never teach us about these big numbers in school. They teach you light years, light the distance light travels in the air. Wow, that's so cool, right? But they don't teach you that the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. So that's the equator. If you're sitting on the equator and pretend the whole equator is a merry-go-round. You're on the edge of that, going 1,000 miles an hour, diving down a mile a minute or more, okay? Just to maintain your path. You're orbiting at 66,000 miles an hour. You're chasing the sun at 500,000 miles per hour, all at the same time. None of them are straight paths either.
Yeah.
Right? All of those motions, and you don't feel them. Check this out. This is like 7,000 miles an hour, the hypersonic sled track. It's like 6,000 or 5,000, somewhere like that. Mach 8.6. You can't even see it go by. Okay? You have to believe that we're traveling 100 times faster than that, chasing the sun, 10 times faster than that, orbiting the sun in different directions. But when we go out into nature, you see this. What does this tell you? Right? Calm. If you had a dinner plate with water on it, and you're standing still and it's filled up to the edge, you probably can't move. You try to move, the water's going to go away. If you're in a car on the smoothest road ever with the nicest car, set at exactly 100 miles an hour, or whatever speed, and you filled up that plate, the slightest speed up, slow down, or slightest turn, the water is going to slosh away. Remember that hypersonic sled track? We're moving 4 different directions at once. The slowest one you can't even fathom. And this water is just sitting here, adjacent to a void. These are scientific impossibilities. You believe in aliens?
No.
You don't?
I do.
Because it's egocentric for us to think of the universe being so big that we're the only ones. That's what they brainwash us in. And you know what? That's a great argument. If we live in a heliocentric model, sure, there's got to be life everywhere. I used to believe that. Well, the closest star is, you know how far it is? Probably not. 4.5 light years. That sounds pretty close. I think the next one is like more than double or triple or quadruple that. 4.5 light years. That's 25 trillion miles. If you were traveling at 100,000 miles an hour to get to that star, how long would it take you? Just take a guess. If you guess it within a week, I'll give you a Bitcoin.
Shane, help me out here.
Quick.
I'm not
Just a
good
quick
with
guess.
math.
Just a quick guess.
2 years.
You're good with math. This
Very,
guy.
very close. 28,000 years. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. 28,000
28,000
years at a speed that you can't comprehend to get to the closest star, flying through scientifically impossible space, because in the Big Bang, there was nothing. It exploded and became everything. That's a cool story. And then all of the rocks started sticking together, and somehow all of the gases started creating their own balls and got so big that they turned into nuclear furnaces.
Yeah.
And then they left a void, a vacuum in between. Nature abhors a vacuum. There's no vacuums. So that's scientifically impossible. But in reality, maybe there is extraterrestrials. Okay. Maybe the world is set up like this. Here we are, right? America, where are you guys located? What state?
Michigan.
You're Michigan. Okay, you're right about here. Here's Antarctica. And then beyond Antarctica, there's extra land, more land, extra territory, extra terra. If somebody lived on the extra terra and they came to visit us in here, what might we call them?
Foreign.
An extra terrestrial, extra terra. And where did they come from?
Foreign land.
The outer space.
Outer space.
Extraterrestrials from the outer space. They're just a couple thousand miles away, not ridiculous light years.
We're surrounded by ice. Is that what I'm seeing?
Antarctica is so they want us to believe that Antarctica is a continent at the bottom of a ball.
Yeah.
And no one's allowed to explore Antarctica. All the countries in the world signed the Antarctic Treaty in 1959, 61, whenever it officially started. And no one's allowed to independently explore out there. And they have military bases all around stopping anyone from getting close to Antarctica.
That's weird.
That's fact. Yeah. Right. And they say it's the only pristine ice on the world and we have to protect the penguins. But go ahead, deforest the Amazon, wipe out animals there, wipe out life there, take it down, acres per minute. That's fine. The lungs of our world, but don't go to Antarctica. And all of the countries in the world agree on this. What? Right? There's only 2 times in all the countries in the world agree on something: Antarctica and getting this thing stuck in your arm. Okay. So what if the world is set up like this? Okay. Do you have a pond or a lake near you?
Yeah.
What holds the water in the lake? Not what makes it go down, gravity. We can get into that. But what stops the water from running away from the pond?
The structure around it.
The land around it. Is the land higher or lower than the water?
Higher.
Higher. It's holding the water in. And if you lowered a piece of that land, what's going to happen?
Overflows.
The water is going to flow out. So ponds, lakes, puddles need a container. That container is the land that surrounds them. Antarctica is the land that surrounds our world. They also tell us Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. That's interesting. Antarctica is the highest land on Earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we live in this, what I call the Antarctic Basin. This is some video and some images of the shoreline of Antarctica, right? But here's something that you might be wondering, like, wait a minute, what about if we, it would take a lot longer to go around Antarctica because Antarctica is only like 13,000 miles around. And, then that means that you couldn't do it. Well, guess what? Nobody does circumnavigate Antarctica. Captain Cook tried it. Well documented. Took him 3.5 years. Went over 60,000 miles. Okay. On the flat Earth map, the equator is about right here. So the equator is a circle right around here. Right. So concentric circles get bigger and bigger and bigger. They don't get smaller and smaller and smaller like on a globe. So it took him 3.5 years. And he went over 60,000 miles. Well, the equator is only 25,000 miles around. How did he go 60,000 miles? Okay.
That's crazy that one can do that in a ship.
Yeah. So here's something. This is how circumnavigation works. I got a magnet here. This is our North Pole. And the compass is pointing towards the magnet. So west is over here on the compass. And I'm trying to push it west, but I have to keep turning because otherwise I'm not going to be going west anymore because the compass always points towards the magnetic center. So west is a circle. Now I'm going to go east. East is this way on the compass, but watch the needle. The needle always points towards the center. So east, I have to turn to maintain a heading of east. So I can go east or west and end up right back where I started. Now, if I try to dead wreck in west, which means as soon as I start heading west, I'm not going to turn the steering wheel. I'm already heading south.
Mm-hmm.
South is every direction away from the center. Here's the problem on flat Earth, though. If you go south, you don't come around the underside of the ball and show up on the other side. Like if you go south from Santiago on the globe, you'll end up over here in Australia. But on a flat Earth, if you go south, you don't magically show up over here. You can't. Here's the problem. Billions of people have navigated east and west. So it's going north, 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 north. And as soon as I pass the North Pole, compass does a 180, I'm heading south. That's south. That's south. That's south. That's south. Every straight line is south. Okay? Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Right? So nobody has ever circumnavigated south.
I just have a question.
Go. You should have questions.
I have a couple questions.
No.
What is the
Why the lie?
What is the yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to say you're a liar, but what is the political gain? I mean, obviously behind every conspiracy theory there's someone gaining off knowledge that the public shouldn't know. So what is the huge gain behind convincing everyone of the world around?
How old are you?
I'm 20 years old.
You have a car?
Yep.
You like filling up the tank?
Yeah.
Yeah, fun, right? Okay. So what if you had something the size of a roll of quarters that would power your car for your entire life and power your home? And what if you had something about the same size that would heat your home? So you never have to pay for heat. You never have to pay for air conditioning. You never have to pay for fuel. Would that be nice?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay.
Like
so they're hiding the fact that, hey, and what if there was some tyranny going on in the world and governments were just really not behaving nicely? What if there was, how many continents are there? There's like 8 continents, right? 8, 7, 8, whatever the number is. I don't believe it because I believe there's hundreds of continents. Hundreds. Okay. And they're hiding it. So they're hiding more land. They're hiding the fact that we are at the center of creation. They're hiding the fact that nobody has power over us except in our imaginations. They're keeping us in fear. And in school, they tell you use how much of your brain? You only use 10% of your brain. That's retarded. Okay. That's not true at all. But that's the goal of school, because if you use the other 90% and connect with the information that's surrounding you, the Akashic records, if you want to put a name on it, if you connect with nature, if you connect with your true soul, and then you find out the truth of this world, you'll find out that your thoughts create your reality. You'll find out that your thoughts are more limited than the matrix that they put you in. You know the Matrix, right? Keanu Reeves. The globe is the matrix for your mind. It's a prison for your mind. There's nothing else to discover, Truman. Go watch the Truman Show again. I want to be an explorer. There's nothing else to discover. Well, we all believe that we're on a ball, and we don't know that there's more beyond Antarctica, most likely. And here's the thing, whether it's real or not, that is something that we want the right to go and view. What if the world was set up like this? We live in this pond right here. It has a small local sun circling around. And out here are other ponds. We can call them, if this is a plane, we'll call them planets, right? A little planet, a little piece of the plane. Planet, plane with a T is planet. Okay. And these are just thousands of miles away, not ridiculous light years and nonsense. Okay. Space is fake and it's scientifically provably fake, right? If in the heliocentric model, if I said, okay, I've got this yoga ball and that's the sun, how big would the earth be?
Tiny.
Right? So imagine at noon, the sun was directly over your head, the heliocentric sun, and I brought it just a mile over your head. So you're on a marble, and that yoga ball is literally so close to the marble you can't even tell. You look up, all you see is yoga ball sky. The whole sun is sky, horizon to horizon. So then I move that sun away 93 million miles where they tell us it is. Also another made-up story. And it gets to be the size of a coin held at arm's length. Why did it get smaller? Because of perspective, which they don't teach you in school anymore. Okay. It gets smaller. Things get smaller as they go away. Simple. Okay. So it went from the whole sky to the size of a coin held at arm's length. If I doubled the distance, how much smaller would it get? A lot smaller. Maybe it would just disappear. Right? There's a thing called the angular resolution limits of your eyes. As something gets smaller and smaller and smaller, when it gets below a certain angle, you can't see it. Your eye just can't resolve it. But we can see the sun. If I made it twice as far, I say it would be too small, but let's say it's only becomes half the size. So now it's like small. Let's make it 8 times farther. It's scientifically provable using math, using understanding of the angular resolution limits of our eyes, that you couldn't see it at 8 times farther. And the reason I say 8 times is because 8 times farther is a light hour, because our sun's 8 light minutes away. 8 times 8, 64, we'll round down. Light hour away. At a light hour away, you can't see the sun. So I can't prove that to you because I can't move the sun 8 times farther away. But maybe we can take something else they tell us. You know what our North Star is?
No.
North Star, Polaris. Polaris never moves. We're corkscrewing through space. Polaris never moves. It's in the same spot day and night. You can go out tonight and see Polaris. You can go out tomorrow morning and see Polaris. You can go out 6 months from now and see Polaris. It'll never move. You can get a pipe, line it up with Polaris, nail it to your house or wherever, where it's not going to move. And every day for the rest of your life, you can go look through that pipe and Polaris will still be there. Never move, anytime, any year, nothing. And we're corkscrewing through space, traveling billions of miles in curved trajectories, going at unbelievable speeds. Okay. But they tell us Polaris is 48 times bigger than our sun. Okay, that's something we can work with. If I moved our sun a light hour away, we know that we can't see it. It's too small. So they tell us our sun is 400 times bigger than the moon, but it's also 400 times farther away, and that makes them both look like they're the same size. Cool story, bro. Okay, so Polaris is 48 times bigger. So if we made it 48 times farther than the sun at a light hour, that would be 48 light hours. That's 2 light days. At 2 light days away, we can't see Polaris. We can prove that. It's too small to see.
Now,
how far do they think? Do you think they tell us Polaris is? Is it 2 light days away? Is it 2 light weeks away? Is it 2 light years away? Is it 200 light years away? Is it 400 light years away? These are ridiculous numbers. They tell us it's 433 light years away. And you think you could see that with your naked eye?
I suppose so.
Well, you suppose so, because here's what happens. They don't teach you to think in school. The bankers make the books. You memorize that information, and that makes you a good banking customer. It doesn't make you a banker. Okay? It makes you a good slave. They teach you geometry, algebra, accounting. These are things that make you good in their society. They don't teach you about vortex mathematics, which you've never heard of, sacred geometry, which you've never heard of. Okay? These are the amazing, most powerful maths in the world, but they don't teach you any of that, and they hide it from you. So why the lie? They're hiding your true power. They don't want to teach you the stuff that would make you challenge their authority over you. And by the way, they don't have any authority over you. It's all in your imagination.
Well, they have more resources than us.
Well, they have it because we've allowed them to have it. They're not allowed to take stuff from us without our permission. So they always tell us what we're doing. Everyone's like, oh, I'm scared of nuclear bombs. That's another rabbit hole you got to go down. Nuclear bombs don't exist. Okay.
Wait.
Nuclear bombs don't exist.
What happened in World War II then?
They had a giant TNT explosion. 3 days later, the sandwich shops were open. The flower shops were open. People were taking the train and going to work. 3 days later, people, plants, and animals have always lived and thrived in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. People and plants and animals are living at Chernobyl, are living at Fukushima. It's all a scam to keep you in fear. Okay? They had a big, giant explosion, right? And they can fake stuff all the time. There's all sorts of fake stuff that's going on all around the world, and people just believe it. Okay? People will believe anything that comes on the TV. Okay? The TV, tell, lie, vision, programming. They're lying to your vision and programming your mind.
Okay.
So
why, if they're not spending money, if bombs aren't real, if nukes aren't real, then what are they putting the money towards? Because then all this stuff is not real. Then it's all fake, right?
So they're taking all your money, your tax money, your hard-earned labor, right? They don't really need money. The elite, they just create money out of thin air. But they're taking all of that to create technology and medicines for them that we'll never see, right? They have cures for all of the diseases, diseases. That, your cells are not at ease. I'm watching the news, and they mentioned Putin might, nuke America. Well, if you believe nukes are real, even if you're not even really listening, every cell in your body is going to react to that in fear, in dis-ease, not being at ease. And that's how you become toxic. They feed us toxic foods. They give us toxic medicines, and they have side effects that cause more toxic medicines. They pollute our air. They put poison in our water. They do all of this stuff. And everyone's like, oh yeah, the fluoride's good for my teeth. But when you look into it, fluoride is the worst thing to put in your body. It calcifies your pineal gland, which is your connection to the other 90% of your brain, to the sources outside of your meat suit. And they calcify it. So it's literally your Wi-Fi antenna, and they make it so it stops working. Then you have to just become a slave to them.
So what would you say are some of the steps to stop becoming a slave and getting out of that mentality?
Great question. So the answer is, first, to say, I do not consent, to understand that everything you see on the news is complete and total nonsense, to not live in fear, to understand where you live and who you truly are. And once you do that, you disconnect, you stop feeding them, because this is a spiritual war. Most people go, oh, what do you mean spiritual war? That doesn't even exist. Well, this is an energetic war, and they want our fear energy. They want us to give them permission to do the nonsense that they do, keep us in fear, stop us from realizing our true potential. They do not want us having our true potential. Okay. Right. So check this out. I'm just going to show you this is the friend finder on my app, and it's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. These are just the people near me. Here they come. Boom. These are just the people near me that have my app. Okay. Let's look at, you're in Michigan, right? Let's go to a wider view here. Okay. Let's see if there's anybody in Michigan. Oh yeah, there's a few people. I can't even find Michigan. Here we are, right?
Yeah.
Right. There's tons of flat earthers here, right? There's tons. Right? Worldwide, people are waking up to this, disconnecting from this matrix, and not allowing.
In England?
Yeah, that's the UK.
Any in Asia?
Asia, absolutely. Where's Asia? Asia's over here. Okay. Not as many, but there's some. Mm-hmm. Japan, Philippines, right? We even got some guy in Antarctica. Where is he?
He knows the truth for sure.
Here he is. Yeah, this is at Casey Station. Right? And the Antarctica, only the shoreline is what they're showing us. And then they just bring it all together in Photoshop. Here it is. So here's the thing. If you Google Flat Earth, you end up at the Flat Earth Society. You end up at Google delivered nonsense, all propaganda, all mainstream, all the worst stuff. They have paid agents out there that are out there just fighting for the, if you're fighting for the globe, you're fighting for the enslavement of humanity. Okay. So you get all types of nonsense. But what happens here on this app, every day there's a featured video. And here's the challenge I give people. Watch the featured video each day while you're having your breakfast. One video, short ones usually during the week, a little longer on the weekend sometimes. And after 2 weeks, if you think you have a proof of the globe, send it to me. You win 3 Bitcoins. But before you do, you have to click the frequently asked questions button. And up comes all the questions like, hey, what about eclipses, which your friend just asked? What about ships over the horizon? What about gravity? What about seasons, right? And if I click like ships over the horizon, up comes a whole bunch of videos that YouTube doesn't want you seeing. Google doesn't want you seeing these. They're there, but they're shadow banned, right? And these things will teach you how your eyes work, teach you some of the stuff that I was just telling you. And again, don't believe me. Don't just believe a video. See how well documented it is, and then go out and do it yourself. That's what I did. When I heard about flat Earth, I was like, I'm just going to prove this shit wrong and shut you guys up because you're all mental. And then I went out and I started zooming in on things with my, I bought a P900 camera at the time, super zoom camera, and I'm zooming in on things that should be dozens of feet, hundreds of feet below the curve, right? If the Earth is curved, there has to be curvature. And the formula for that curvature is an easy formula. You know, at 3 miles away, it drops 6 feet. At 100 miles away, it drops 6,600 feet. Okay. How is it possible that a Navy ship can target a laser beam, pinpoint pencil thin laser beam on another ship 100 miles away when there should be a mountain of water over a mile tall between them?
Yeah.
Sonar goes straight line in water, right? Anything it hits, it bounces back. They can see it. A submarine can see another submarine over 100 miles away on the bottom of the ocean. There'd be a mountain 6,600 feet. The sonar would have to go up, over, down, hit it, and then bounce back up, over, and down. That's ridiculous. Doesn't happen that way, but they can. Microwave towers need line of sight. They're 300 miles apart sometimes. And that the curvature at 300 miles is absolute insanity. I'll show you one example here, or maybe 2. Who knows? Here is a spot in Aluja, France called, out here is Canigou Mountain, but it's 175 miles away. From this altitude, from this church parking lot, the famous viewing spot, because out here is Mount Canigou, but at that distance, the top of Mount Canigou should be a half a mile below the curve, over a half a mile below the curve. And so you can't see it. But right now, do you see me?
Mm-hmm.
You see the light that's bouncing off of me. And I can prove that by turning off all the lights in this room, then you won't see me. So you're seeing the light that's bouncing off of me. Is the light that's bouncing off of me as bright as the light that's shining on me? No. Okay. So the lesser light. So the light that's bouncing off of Mount Canigou isn't strong enough to push through the atmosphere. And that's why you can't see it. But every year, the sun migrates out to the Tropic of Capricorn, back to the Tropic of Cancer, and then it lines up twice a year with Mount Canigou and that viewing spot. And when it does, and it goes beyond it, all of a sudden you can see Mount Canigou because it's being backlit by the brighter light that can push through. Okay, so the very top right there should be over a half a mile below the curve if the Earth was a sphere. There it is. Clear as can be, the entire mountain.
Yeah.
Right? So people say, well, I've seen boats go over the curve. And I say, no, you haven't. Right? So out here is the sky meets the ground. And as I zoom in, I'm just increasing that angular size. And as I increase the angular size, look, there's a boat there that you couldn't see before because its angular size was too small. See these little waves in the foreground? So if my finger is a wave in the foreground, it's bigger and it can block the boat and make it disappear. So these little waves make the boat disappear from the bottom up. It's not going over a curve. It's just out of your ability to see. And perspective hides it. Can my finger hide my face?
No.
What if my finger was closer to you?
Yeah.
When you're looking at a road, let's say you're at the edge of a tree line or whatever, you're at the shore of Lake Michigan and there's tree line, 150-foot top, and it's up there. It's not at your eye level. But if you went out on the lake 2 or 3 miles and then you look back at those trees, the top of those trees are now at your eye level. Think about that. They're not really at your eye level, but they are at your eye level. You seem like you're thinking, I'm going to give you one that I don't normally show to people because their brains can't handle it, but I think you can handle it. Okay. So here is an explanation. So these lights are all at the same height, but they look like they're going down due to perspective. Your brain knows they're the same height. The road's straight. Okay. So here's a cloud and it's above you. And if I drew I've actually got a piece of string from my eyes to that cloud, it would look like this. Okay. I got a piece of string. But those clouds going into the distance that are all at the same height, they get closer and closer to the horizon, 30 miles away, they look like they're touching the horizon, right? But these are all at the same height. So if this cloud in the distance over here is still at the same height as this, but it looks like it's touching the horizon. If I drew a string from my eye to that cloud, which is now at my eye level, I would see that string being parallel across the water, right?
Yeah.
It's parallel across the water. But what if you were standing underneath that cloud? What would you see if you could see the string? Would you see a line running straight across the water? Or would you see something different? You would see the cloud 5,000 or 10,000 feet above you, and you would see the string sloping down to me. But I see it going straight across, right? And it merges with the horizon, but it's still 5,000 or 10,000 feet in the air. But it's merged into what I think is a horizon. So now let's extend that. So we have me right here. This is you. And this is the cloud that's on the horizon for me. I extend that line beyond it, beyond my horizon, which is here. And as the sun moves away, when it crosses this line, I can no longer see it because this cloud, this atmospheric density blocks it. I see that, but I see it at my eye level. I see it at my eye level. So when I see it, it looks like this. The sun goes down. As it goes away, it looks like it's going away. And it just goes down. It just goes down, right? So when we see the sun go away, it goes down, but it's really going straight. If you can look at it from a side view, which you can never do, no one ever gets to see anything from the side. We call that Muppet vision, right? But if you draw it out a side view, you can draw things out, but no one ever experiences Muppet vision.
So hypothetically, let's say if you have like Elon Musk type of money, could you build a rocket ship to space? Because you said it's fake. Is that possible, or what would happen?
So you believe in Elon Musk. I got a video. If you remind me afterwards, I'll send it to you. 5-minute video. Elon Musk is a total fraud. He hasn't done anything he's ever said. NASA's had a budget of $60 million a day for the last 4 decades. Okay. $60 million a day. Okay. And Elon Musk has done more than NASA, according to what they say, with 1 week's budget of NASA. 1 week's budget. He sold PayPal for $350 million, supposedly, or whatever. $350 million is 1 week's budget from NASA. And he was able to do all of this stuff, launch a Tesla into space. I'm going to show you a rocket launch, and you're going to think it's fake. But this is an unedited test of Elon's rocket that's going to go to Mars. Okay, look at this crappy little pad. This thing weighs megatons, right? Edit, weird angles. Okay, now look how slow it's going. Look at this little flame is lifting up this multi-ton unit with all of this smoke. Hands upright. Do you believe that was a real rocket launch or a completely total staged Photoshop nonsensical production?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. That was put off as real from Elon Musk to take everything else off the table. Nobody has ever been to space because space doesn't exist. Okay.
Well, what about all the photographers that have like been there when the rocket launched? Like, where does the rocket go?
So nobody was there for that one. And they do different kinds. This I call the Tupac rocket. It's a hologram. We actually found on NASA's lawn, looking at pictures, these weird lights and we zoomed in, got a company name, a logo, and we found out it was from a holographic projection company. And sometimes when they do something like this, stuff goes wrong. Watch right here. Watch the top of the rocket. All of a sudden, there's a glitch in the layering. Like, let's zoom in on that a little bit. What's going on there?
Yeah, it looks, yeah.
This is not real. Okay. And then when you look at other launches like the space shuttle, when you watch the space shuttle, I don't know, you guys remember the space shuttle, right? Okay. Nobody is there. The closest you can be is a dozen miles away. That make a dozen miles away. It's this freaking big. And it's behind a tree line, so you can't really see what's going on. But this video, if you Google space shuttle launch, you'll get this exact video. And it looks like these people are right here. That's how they edit it. But they're really over a dozen miles away. Okay. These people are nowhere near this thing. This thing is so far away, they can't see, they can't make out what it is. This is a blimp. That red tank, the external tank, is a blimp. A blimp. This thing is blowing out superheated fuel at over 17,000 miles an hour, and that fence doesn't move. Right? You ever see what a tornado does to a tree or a fence? That's 300 miles an hour of room temperature wind. Okay? None of this makes any sense. Nobody is ever on a rocket. Ever.
So all the times you see them, they're just like, it's fake. You see a green screen behind them.
Yeah, absolutely. In the space station, we have tons of footage of them. Now this one has a smoke trail. Yes, they launched something. They launched a friggin' balloon with a firework on the bottom of it. It curves out and it crashes in the Bermuda Triangle, out where no one is allowed to be, and they recover it, and then they show you CGI. Okay. And by the way, when this thing goes, when the external tank, the bolts explode and it comes off, it's 30 miles downrange. If it was only 20 miles downrange, it would take 90 seconds for the sound to get there. But in the video, you hear it and see it at the same time. 20 miles away, takes sound 90 seconds to travel. And we saw it and heard it at the same time. Okay.
That's a lot to process.
It's a lot to process, but let me show you another one, because I think you can handle this. If I can find it, here it is. External tank. All right, so the external tank. Is this free falling 40,000 pounds empty metal back to Earth, and it's going to burn up before it gets to those clouds? Or is this filled with helium and it's a balloon? Because this is being filmed by the guys in the shuttle that are on their way up. So they're going up at over 17,000 miles an hour. This thing's free falling, and somehow they're able to film it. Now watch right here. A little handkerchief's going to fly by. Ready? There it goes. You see it?
Yeah.
So that shows you the thing is barely moving. It's floating.
What?
Yes.
What is
on
this?
on my channel, DITRH? Is it on my channel? Where did I have it? On my TikTok. My TikTok. You guys on TikTok?
Yeah, of course.
DITRH. Follow me on TikTok. DITRH stands for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. I have one about this, and there's a cloaked, for lack of a better word, recovery craft that's going to move by right over here in a couple seconds. And I changed the contrast so you can really see it on mine. But I think it's going to go by any second. And I'm like, what the hell is that? But look, they're filming this from the space shuttle. They're on their way up, and this thing's free falling. How is that possible? How is that possible? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Not possible. Not possible. Right? And just in case you people go, wait, did it come by yet? Just in case you go, whoa, what about the Challenger astronauts? They all died, right? Did they? You probably had the TV dragged into your schoolroom when the Challenger went up, right? And exploded? No?
We were too young for that.
You're too young. All right. That's sorry. My kids are older than you. All right. Look, there it is. You see it? You see it? There it was. Here, I'll go back. I can't go back. All right. Well, it showed it for a split second. Crazy stuff. But I have a video on my TikTok that's about that. And TikTok and my YouTube, DITRH. But everything can be found at flatearthdave.com. So you remember the Challenger astronaut where the teacher was on there and they all died. It blew up in front of everyone. Saddest thing, blah, 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 blah. Right? Well, here are 6 of the 7 have identical twins because we found them. And they go, oh, we're identical twins. They have the same name. They all work for universities. And none of them showed up at their siblings' funerals.
And they just kept that secret to themselves for the rest of their lives.
Well, they got paid, whatever their reason that they did it, and they're keeping the secret. You know, who knows what their reason is? They might be compromised. They might be promised some future in the New World Order. You know, they might. You know, who knows what the people's motivations are? I can only speculate. So I don't know. But here's the thing: if you learn the truth, because you asked a great question. If you learn the truth and you're willing to unplug from the matrix, you take your power back. And if enough people do that, only a few % of the world, the entire thing comes crashing down. And if people go, well, I still have to work. I still have to go to my job. I had a job. I went to college. I went into corporate America. I left corporate America, started my own business, became the CEO of my own business, doing super well, making more money than I ever thought. And I walked away from it all. Insanity. Walked away from it all because if everyone has their heads up their ass flying through space and don't know who they are, where they are, we will never have freedom. And we're going to go into the dark ages. Okay. You guys are aware that there's some crazy stuff going on in the world, right? I want this going on YouTube. I don't want to get taken off, but did you guys get this thing stuck in your arm?
Mm-hmm.
You did?
Yes. I went to the hospital because of it.
Okay. Well, you know how many people have died because of that? It's unbelievable. Look, go to Open VAERS Vaccine Adverse Reporting Event Reporting System. It's insane. It's literally genocide. Don't get the booster. Don't do anything. Right? Leave your parents if they.
I haven't.
Listen, here's the thing. If you're being forced to, reach out to me. I'll give you all the ammo, and you say, "Listen, I'll get it. You have to look at this first." And when they look at it, you'll be like, "I'm not getting that. I'm not getting that." StopLookThink.com. Watch the videos there because Google's hiding them from you. They're not allowed on YouTube. You're not even allowed to say half of what I just said on YouTube, right? If I said the V word or anything, then boom, strike. Because they're hiding it. They're part of the problem.
And they're us too the whole time.
Yeah. There's the amount of children that have gotten, I can't even say the word, this inflammation of the thing that's right here, right? Called myo something. I'm not going to say it. Don't say it. The video will literally get flagged if you say that. Okay.
Sorry.
And there's so many kids that are dying because of this. So there you go. And who knows? They're probably dying because of, whatever. We'll just say that YouTube. We'll fuck yourselves.
That's a lot of interesting stuff, Dave.
So here's the thing. I know we're gonna cut it. We went longer than you wanted, but on the app, Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app at flatearthdave.com. It's $3. There's an $11 subscription, but that's only if you want to message other flat earthers and look at profiles and do stuff like that. You don't need it to get the information, the frequently asked questions. You guys have probably never even heard the term mud flood, right?
Nope.
Dude, all of our history is a lie. You know the movie Idiocracy? Have you seen that?
I haven't.
You need to watch it because it's literally where we are in the world. 100 years ago or longer, not even 100 years ago, society was more advanced than we are now. Okay. What? They've hidden everything from us. Okay. Electric cars were here in the 1800s. Okay.
Yeah, we are the lazy ones right now.
We are the dumbed down, fluoridated, axe-renated, slaves. And so here under the web button, hit this button. Bring food and water, called Mud Floods Tataria. You'll find out about our future. Or if you really want to dive in, hit this button, The Lost History of Flat Earth. Now, that's a 5-hour video, the first one. Right? When it was sent to me, I am into this stuff. I'm like, I'm not watching a 5-hour video. but then one night at like 11 p.m., I was doing some stuff. I was like, let me just throw this thing on for a couple minutes. Right. Next thing I know, it's 4 a.m. I had to watch it again. I've watched it 5 times. Okay? Right? So I'm not saying start there. Start here, DITRH. Link that flatearthdave.com. All my videos are under 5 minutes.
I will. And you said for how?
What's that?
How much is that?
Yep, it's $3.
Just $3. Yeah.
Go read the reviews. Don't, it's $3 friggin' dollars. Okay. All right. And don't let your parents do that to you again. Okay. It's the dumbest thing ever. Your chance of, I can't even talk about it. It's so stupid.
So then why
stop. Here's what happens. They talk about, you don't know about the reset, the Great Reset. Klaus Schwab, the head of the World Economic Forum. You'd never heard of him. This is an unelected group of people that run the world. And he wrote a book called The Great Reset. It's available on Amazon. It tells you what they're doing, but people are too stupid to go read it and understand that's exactly what's happening. Every around 150 years, not 26,000 years, there's a reset. They reset the world, and they're trying to do it right now. What do I mean by reset? Their stated goal is they want the world population at 500 million. Stated goal. How are they going to do that? Maybe if all the governments in the world agreed on something absolutely ridiculous, maybe that's how they could do it. Maybe if they had you believing in nuclear bombs that we're running out of water, there's infinite water below us and infinite water above us. We're not running out of food. You can stick a seed in the ground anywhere and water will fall from the sky and food will grow out of the ground. Okay. We're not running out of oil. We don't need oil, but oil is abiotic. All of the empty oil wells are full again. They don't take millions of years. They're not made from dinosaur juice. Okay. Dinosaurs never existed.
What?
Yeah. How about this? Everything you've been taught is a lie. Don't go to college. Okay. Don't go to college, man. Don't go to college. You want to learn? You want to be a viable person? If you hit the homeschooling button, brings you over here, and we're adding more and more stuff. This podcast alone, Crow 777 Radio, 2 hours in Crow. If you just listen to one episode a day, 5 days a week, so that's 2 hours of class, 5 days a week. One, you'd be fascinated with every single interview, right? You get 2 new ones a week and then 3 old ones until you work your way up to the 450 that are already out. You can do the class while you're hanging out at the beach, while you're playing Frisbee, while you're riding your bike, while you're kite surfing, doesn't matter, while you're hiking, okay? You will be a more viable member of society and you have more information to function in this world than any college would do. And it's only $8 a month. $8 a month. But here's the trick. Pay the $8, download all 400 episodes, and then quit if you don't want to keep paying the $8, okay? But you don't want to do that because the new ones that come out are totally worth it. Totally worth it. All right, what happened to Simon? Did he die from information?
I don't know. Our brains just can't handle it, I guess.
All right, listen, it's a lot, but flatearthdave.com, get the app, subscribe to freaking Crow. That's more than my app is less than that. But start with that Tataria button. Start with the frequently asked questions. Learn this stuff. And here's a warning I'm going to give you that nobody ever listens to. As you start looking into this, when you really start looking and getting the information, you're going to get so excited about it. You're going to want to tell everybody. Don't tell anybody. Don't go out and tell your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your family, your whatever, any of your friends. Don't tell anybody until you have enough information. And if you have to tell somebody, which you're going to go, listen, this guy's offering 3 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof. I've been trying to find one. Can you help me? Right? And that's how you sucker them in, because then they'll try. And that's the way you become a flat earther. But on the web button, if you scroll down, this button right here, full length videos. The first video is called A Stranger's Guide to Flat Earth, 21 questions. They're all like 3, 4, 5 minute clips of the top 21 questions. Nobody in all of history has been able to watch that video and not come out the other end going, oh my God, the globe is a lie. Okay. And there's all sorts of great stuff, full length videos in here, really good stuff. Like turn off Netflix, throw on one of these puppies, stream that onto your TV and with the whole family around. Okay. It'll blow your mind. The next level is the second one on there. That's great. I'm actually in that movie. And it's really, it's just mind blowing. Like I have friends that, like, all right, Dave, flat earth. Okay. All right. And they kept it at bay and like, I don't know, but they never really looked. And then one night when the next level came out, we're at their house. They have a nice big, theater room, and they're like, we'll throw your movie on, and we threw it on. Silence through the whole movie. At the end, they looked at me and they go, "We're in. Earth is flat." Okay. One well-made documentary, not nonsensical video, will teach you about that. Seasons. This shows you how seasons work, right? The sun is a perfect clock. Wherever the sun is, it's noon. It brings its light around with it, and the moon, I'll speed it up, goes around, but the sun laps the moon every 28 days. So the moon, its position and phase keep track of the weeks and the moons. There used to be 13 moons of 28 days. But now there's 12 with random days because they hijacked our calendar because we're part of this Earth system. And then if I slow it down, I turn on the stars. The stars are going slightly faster than the sun. And they lap the sun once a year. So it takes 365 times around for the sun to lap them. So the sun is in this zodiac, and it'll fade back into this one for about a month, and it'll fade back into this one for about a month, and it'll fade back to this one. But you go out tonight, take a picture of the stars at whatever time, and then next year, go out on the same night, same time, and take a picture and compare them. Every star will be in the exact same position. Every star. We're corkscrewing through space, never to return to where we were before, moving in like a beehive, okay? None of that stuff works.
Yeah.
Right? None of it works. So if you see this inner yellow line, that's called the Tropic of Cancer. Do you know what the outer one's called?
Mm-mm.
It's called the Tropic of Capricorn. And in December, the sun moves out to the Tropic of Capricorn. Well, it goes right over Australia. In December, that's their summer because the sun is high above them. And we're here, the sun's far away from us when it's out there. That's why it's lower in the sky, farther away. It's cold in Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Right. But in 6 months from December, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the sun will migrate all the way back into the Tropic of Cancer. It's closer to us. It's higher in the sky. It's never directly above us because we're inside.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the Arctic area. Everything inside this circle is considered the Arctic area, and everything outside of Capricorn is considered the Antarctic area. Arctic. If you're standing inside here, what is the sun doing? It's arcing around you, right? It's arcing around you. If I'm standing anywhere inside the circle, the sun is arcing around me. It's ticking around me, Antarctic. But if I'm standing outside here, is the sun arcing around me, or is it antarcing away from me, towards me and away from me? It doesn't go around me. The Antarctic. Crazy. The button that you want to hit in here is where does the sun go? Okay. Where does the sun go? That's going to help you comprehend on how people see the sun do different things in the sky.
Well, Dave, you said a lot of crazy, mind-breaking things that everybody should just probably, if I were you, I'd probably rewatch from the beginning and just try to just, understand what you're trying to say, because it's a lot to digest.
It's too much to digest. I've been digesting it for 6 or 7 years. If you hit no, it's the friend finder. If you hit the web button again, right here are my interviews. Your interview will be in here, and there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other interviews where I get into everything. Pop one of those on a day, then you'll get there really quick because I'm explaining it all, right? If you try to find this stuff on your own, you're not going to find any of it. Google's hiding it all from you. The censorship that's going on right now is insane, and we have the opportunity to stop it and take our power back. But you can't do that if you're flying through impossible heliocentric space in Narnia. Okay?
Yes. You've been an excellent guest today, Dave. Thank you for coming on.
All right.
Really appreciate it.
FlatEarthDave.com. Get the app. Take the crash course on my website. Check out the other stuff there. It'll blow your mind. All
and
right.
Before we end it, we always ask all our guests this, what's the biggest L you've taken on since we're Loser Island?
What's the biggest L?
Yeah, like a loss that you've taken.
The biggest loss, like in any category?
Sure, anywhere. It could be this year, and then
Well, loss is an interesting thing. Like I lost a bunch of friends when I became a flat earther, but I gained so many more quality friends. So is that a loss? I'd say and like I lost. I don't know, man. That's a great question.
Maybe your corporate job.
What? No, that wasn't a loss because I walked away. And this is way better, dude. I'm at my home. I get to do what I want. I get to make my own schedule. And I'm helping people. That's the thing. You know, I'm not in this for the money, but I'm helping people. I'm freeing people from the matrix. I'm unplugging. I'm Morpheus. Okay. I'm unplugging people from the matrix. Right. Look at what's his name? Keanu Reeves, whatever his name was. Neo. As in the Matrix. Remember the first one, right? You remember the first Matrix?
Yes.
Don't tell me you guys are too.
I've seen the Matrix.
Oh, we know it.
All right. So in the beginning, he's depressed. He's sleeping a lot. He's in his bedroom. Something's wrong with the world. He can't figure it out. Well, that's your soul talking to your conscious, ego, going, look, and your ego's going, no, I'm on the ball. Leave me alone. And it's not willing to look. So something's wrong. But then when he gets unplugged, I'm unplugging you from the Matrix. Right now, you're unplugged and you're lost, right? You're trying to figure out where to go. And when you unplug from the Matrix, all of a sudden you can see. Look at Neo at the beginning of the movie and stand him next to Neo at the end of the movie. Which one is weak and useless, and which one is taking his power back so much he could fly? Okay, right? So that's what happens when you unplug from the helio sinister trick. Okay, the helio nonsensical satanic globe model, you take your power back. And let me tell you something. As at Crow 777 Radio, his statement is, belief is the enemy of knowing. I believe you guys live in Michigan. I don't know it. You told me. I believe you. But if I wanted to research you and figure it out, I could probably figure it out. I'd probably confirm that you do live there because, but you don't know anything. And belief is easy. You can believe you live on a globe because a guy in a bow tie who lies told you. And that's it. Now you can go take a nap. You can do whatever you want. Go drink a beer. But if you want to know, you got to do research. You got to take time. You got to look at stuff. You got to use your brain. You got to use the 90% that they tell you don't need. Okay? You got to understand who you really are. Right? And if you just sit there all day and fall into their nonsense, watch their television and play their video games and eat their garbage, you will be a slave for the rest of your life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Keep it on that.
All right, guys.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Dave. Have a great day.
All right, man. Thanks. See ya.
Thank you for opening up the minds of the new generation.
Now it's up to you, man, to look. If it's a lot, just watch the daily video each day. Just click right there, watch the video and go, that was a good one. I'll go, I don't resonate with that one so much. That's fine. Just watch it. And what's going to happen is you're going to want to hit the archive button because you're not going to want to wait. So you're going to start going backwards through the archives. And then people will be like, what the hell is going on? Look, someone just downloaded the app. Every time someone downloads, you get a little notification if you turn that on.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. See ya.
Where is the curvature? Where? No curvature.